A very good evening to everyone who are connected with us here at NRI Legal Services. This video is about a very focused service that we have now been providing, along with a host of other services which are relating to land disputes, which are relating to other litigation matters relating to properties of NRIs. But the reason that we are doing this specific video, which we are coining it as a property management services video, is that it is very important that you need to manage your properties. Basically, as a litigating dispute property lawyer, in my long career of 17 years, I realized that it is basically a lot of those disputes, a lot of those issues could have been avoided had people had a little more proactive attitude, a more management attitude towards their properties in India. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not casting an aspersion that you were not competent enough to do it. But if you're an NRI and if you have a property in India, then I would like to share with you some information as to how to manage it, how to be empowered to understand what you need, so that you might never ever need to get into a dispute or need a lawyer. This is part of our corporate governance policy at NRI, where I feel socially responsible that just by sharing some information, a lot of issues can be avoided. A lot of hassle can be avoided. And if you follow these tips that I'm going to share with you in this video and some in the next few videos, then I'm sure it'll be of great help. In fact, a lot of feedback comes to us every time I try and share these tips with people, and people say they have been really helped. And this kind of spurs me on and encourages me to do more and share more on some of the basic information. A lot of you have actually been completely out of touch with India, and India definitely works in a different way than the West. And a lot of veil, a lot of cloud is there on how the Indian system is, and people there abroad, overseas, out of India, all of you who are overseas, do not have the time or the bandwidth, and they sometimes, because of this reason, lose their properties or get into issues or get into disputes, which can be very well avoided if you actually understand what needs to be done. Here is my first tip. I have been saying this in several of my TV interviews and radio interviews, and I'm going to repeat it at the cost of even if you know this, you need to know this, that there is a service that we started, and how it started I'm going to share this with you also. Basically, we've termed it as a first service, which is land search service or property search service. Basically, when we started NRI 17 years ago, we were a typical group of lawyers trying to understand the issues and then take them to court. Because our organization was focused only on NRI issues, we couldn't do much. Suddenly we realized that when we would ask for documents, people didn't have any. And this actually used to hold us back. We couldn't help them, and this used to hold us back because we said, where are the documents? They didn't have it, and we said, how are you going to procure it? They said, okay, when we travel to India, we'll try and get those documents, and this would delay their cases. And we realized that if we actually want to make a meaningful difference and help NRIs and continue to give these services to NRIs or people who live overseas, we need to help them by setting up a document support team, is what we called them at that time. And now we have this team is very big, and this is called a document specialist team, where we basically used to assess what a person has, and then look at that, and whatever was lacking or deficient, then we would procure those documents. This is typically not what lawyers do, but we had to do this because the nature of our work was such, and I never realized at that time that this title search service or this document procuring service is going to be so much needed. And as we worked more and more, and we realized when hundreds of these people started coming to us and we helped them understand what they owned and what they have in India, and how it became all of a sudden it became very relevant. So this was the background of this service when we started it. But this search or this property documents obtaining service is absolutely a vital must for anyone who has property in India. If you have a property in India, you need to keep the status updated. You need to have the latest documents with you. You need to understand what you own very clearly. There are 4-5 parameters. I'm going to go into them in a while. You need to empower yourself. Just like you have all the documents, everything pertaining to your properties in the West where you live, you need to have these documents for properties in India as well. And yes, it is possible, and there is a way that you can get it, whether you come yourself, whether you understand, or you hire someone to do it, or ask any of your family members to do it. But you need to keep yourself updated, and this is and I will just go into why this is needed. So let's say the number one, you need your statuses completely updated, your documents current, latest. You need to understand what you own, what is the value of the property that you own. All of this needs to be compiled in document form, and you need to have this. For this, there is proper land registry departments. A lot of stuff is now online also available. Yes, you cannot go into the background or search for a lot of registered sale deeds online maybe, but ownership and all you can verify. But for that, you can then hire someone to obtain those documents so that that file is complete. There were people who've contacted us over the years, younger people whose parents died. They didn't have any clue basically of what they owned in India, and they were shocked when they engaged us, and actually when we discovered the extent of the property that they had. And it was only once they understand what they owned. There were people who did not even have an idea where the property was situated or how much it was. In fact, there are some landmark cases that we've done, and which gives me a lot of pride on for my team who've done this work, is that there was a person about 8-9 years ago, and this guy only gave us a general idea that his village was somewhere near a railway line in Philor in Punjab, Philor is a place in Punjab, and we actually traced out his land, looking at records of a couple of villages, and he actually now is a proud owner and in possession of that property. So there've been absolutely astounding cases of our connecting people back to their roots, which I feel, which I feel is very important. So guys, property management is in your hand. I do not call myself a property management lawyer. We are property lawyers, but managing a property is a core service that you need to engage in yourself first, mentally prepared that yes, I am going to manage my properties myself, and then ask for help, whether you hire a professional to do that, whether you hire your own whether you request your own family to do that. If they have the right knowledge, they can help you with it. But you need to understand that without you managing your properties in India, you would always end up in disputes. And there have been so many of them, and people are actually victimized. They have been deprived of their property rights. They have been stripped of their properties just because they have not understood, or they have not taken due care. They have not tried to focus back on the properties in India, and that is the reason all of a sudden. And also the system is such that a lot of things are not very clear, and that is the reason people have. And it actually pains me that yes, some of the obvious disputes one cannot avoid, but there are so many that we can. So The property relating property documents relating service is something that you need to indulge in. So let's go into the details of what you need. For land, you need that land document, which is in Punjab it is called a fard, and it is called a namuna satbara in Gujarat and in other places. This is a land registry document which actually shows who is the owner, who is the cultivator of the land. So that's one of the documents. A lot of it is now online. You can actually procure it from online. There are different websites who are giving it to you. But anything that you need to go behind to see whether your property is all the size of the property is all intact, what is reflecting in your name online, is that the area that you actually own, all of that, then you need to go and do it manually. A lot of other searches also manually. Likewise, you should have all the registered sale deeds of urban property or residential property with you. So your documents should be complete. Secondly, you should have the complete area and the size of the property completely listed with you. It's very important. And how much area you own, what is the size of the land holding, what is the size of the plot. It should be clearly marked in these documents, and it should be all outlined clearly. Number 3, you have to know who is in occupation of your property. And yes, it looks very silly that some people might say that, how come we need to know that? Don't we all know that? No. There are so many people who are so out of touch with their properties, and they have never come back, that they don't even know. And yes, we are fighting hundreds of such cases on a daily basis where they don't even have any idea who is actually staying in the property. The person who was staying has moved out. He's given the property to somebody else. So you need to understand that possession is a very, very strong thing for an ownership of the property. Both ownership and possession, they go hand in hand. So it's very important. You need to be in possession and you need to also have the ownership. When I say possession, even if you've given a property on rent, you can be in possession. Even if you have somebody staying there as a caretaker, you can be in possession. And possession is something that you need to keep absolutely with you. And a lot of things can reflect possession. A lot of people don't know this, but utilities, the bills, electricity, water, these bills should be in your name. The property tax that you're giving, if you're giving a property tax on a property, it should be in your name. It should not be in arrears. Try and keep all those records with you. Keep the utilities bill in your name. This will show your possession. A lot of problems can be avoided. Like, let's say, for an example, if today in your property you get a phone call from India that there's somebody who has gotten into your property, and all of a sudden you don't know what to do, so you will call either the police, the government listed police, everything is online now, or you would try and engage a lawyer quickly. You'll contact a lawyer and you'll say, okay, I have a situation with my property. The first thing the police or the lawyers are going to ask you are your documents. How do you prove the ownership? And if your documents are not updated in your name, then how are you going to prove that property is yours? And by the time you actually sort out that mess and get it updated, it can be too late. And this trespasser could actually sell it further. These are actual cases that we are handling on a daily basis. The property could go to another person or another person, since property grabbing or land grabbing is a very real issue in India. It is not something that doesn't happen or happens only in films or happens to others. There was this gentleman who I came across who actually was absolutely a classic victim because he was an NRI, and he said that he'd heard of these gory stories of what happened to people, but then he never thought it'll happen to him. And because you don't think it's going to happen to you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen to you. So if there is a trespasser, or if there's somebody who has gotten into your property, the first element that you need to prove your ownership is your ownership document. So make sure that is in your name. Supposing this person who has grabbed your property or who's come into your property also says that, no, I have been living here forever. How would you prove that he's not? If you have the bill in your name, if you have the utilities in your name, and the latest bill is with you, in your record, you can immediately show that I am paying the bill, I am paying the property tax, this property is in my possession, who is he? That kind of weakens his stance. It kind of gives you, it gives your case strength. So all of this is so important that the service that I'm talking about of land search and property search, which we are doing now, we're compiling these reports. Our teams are doing excellent jobs, and I think it is very important, and everybody should have a systematic compilation of their property records, their possession proof, their utilities bill, their area, the value of their property. When I say value of the property, why should you not know? Why should you even trust your relatives who might have vested interests? You don't know. You can't trust anyone. They might have their... Why should you ask somebody about value? And why should you have a generic feeling? You can actually get a professional valuation done. You should get a professional valuation done and understand tomorrow if there is a need to sell, you should at least know what you're being offered. It's very, very important. All of these services together kind of make a report which we actually call our property search service, and we call a land search service, which is actually empowering you with your documents, empowering you to understand and to take decisions yourself. Any trespassing, any kind of fraud happening, if you have the...
a few questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. And yeah, I'll just look into them. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is basically why a land search is needed. It can help you a lot. And when I say, before I just look into these questions, when I say keep your statuses updated, I also mean that the properties which are still not transferred in your name are not updated. You need to understand that you might own a property, but it might still be in the name of your father or your grandfather. That's not good. You need to transfer this. The transfer services and the other property management services where you manage it yourself, get your properties transferred, get them partitioned, all of these you can actually, I'll go into details in my upcoming videos where I'll take each service and I'll explain the fundamentals of that service and why that service is so needed. But as a number one tip, keep your documents completely updated. You would actually realize that a lot of hassle would be saved if you do that. And for that, you need to only understand and have the location and the address of your property. You can go online yourself, check. If it's not there, then you can engage somebody or you ask somebody to do that. So I have a list of questions that I need to look at. Okay, Praveen Puri. My great-grandfather had some property in Surat. My father and I have never been to India. Can we now get some idea about it since we don't have any trustworthy friends there? Praveen, you don't need trustworthy friends. All you need is if you can send us where the property is located, I mean the exact address. Without an exact address, we cannot help you. But if you have the exact address, send us the exact address and we can do a full-blown search on your property. We can take out your documents. When we compile this report, interestingly, Praveen, we would also translate these documents. A lot of people don't understand vernacular languages. Part of this report is also translating those documents. In fact, those who already have these documents and don't need to engage us, get them translated in English so that you understand. In fact, please understand that anything that you ever read or possess, please do it in the language you understand. I have seen scores of people making mistakes on Punjabi documents, on Gujarati or Hindi documents. They don't know what it means. So it's a useless document if you can't read that. So Praveen, you can do that. Or Gujarat state is completely online. If you know where your property is, you try and search for it online. If you get to know some records on your property, great. You can send those to us. We will interpret and we can actually do a report on that as well. And if you don't, we can do a full-blown search. Second question is from Sachin Mathur. I've been to India thrice to find out about my deceased father's share in the ancestral property, but each time I come back more frustrated. Is there anything that your firm can do to help me? Sachin, I don't blame you. India, the system is very different, and a lot of people get frustrated because they don't understand the system. Yes, we can help you. You need to send me again the location of the property. exact address of the property, and we would try and get all the documents out, understand, value it completely, see what is the size of your land holding, give you the complete description on who is in possession, if there is anybody in possession, who is in possession of that property. We would do a full report for you. No, absolutely no problem. There is another question from Rani Atwal. There seriously cannot be anything more frustrating than sorting out and trying to gauge what anybody's land share is in India. I'm hassled and feeling extremely depressed on this issue. Please, can you guide me? Rani, if you send me these documents, we can actually interpret these documents. We can take out your individual share, we can calculate it, and we can give you a full report on what you own. And also, if you want, you can hire us or engage us for getting valuation done, and we can give you a professional valuation report along with it. This is not a problem at all. So this is some of the questions that have come. There are some more questions here. I don't know how much time we are left with, but I'll quickly go through one from someone called Kusum Meenu, which says, I'm very sure that my mother had a share in her father's property, but nobody is willing to tell me how I can find out more about this. Again, Meenu, please send us the details. We would love to help you understand what you own and what is your extent of your share in your father's property, and also give you a full valuation. And I have similar questions. So people who have properties in India need to keep them updated. It's part of the property management program that they need to now indulge in and need to empower themselves so that they can escape problems and stop being victims to issues where their properties actually can get into very tedious, very messy disputes, and a lot of people can be helped like that. Other than that, I would also recommend, please get your properties transferred, please get them partitioned. All of this I will take them separately as individual videos, what you need to do for transfer, what you need to do for partition, and then you can decide how you want to manage them. Do you want to keep them or do you want to sell them? But before that, all of these issues need to be resolved and save yourself from a lot of problems that people are facing. I'd be very, very happy if you guys, if you've liked what I've spoken and you'd like to basically watch us, then please like our Facebook page, which is the protocol, and we would be connected more often. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube link. And please, this is my request, that anyone who's watching my video right now, or our videos right now, even if they don't have issues, please circulate it amongst the Indian community abroad, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are waiting to be helped. Please help us to reach out to those people who need advice, who need guidance, how to actually reclaim their rights in India, or they have a problem with their property. And you guys need to help us reach out to those people. We would be highly, highly obliged. Thank you so much. Any questions you have, any issues, please write to us. Our teams are very, very good with communication. They're very proactive. There's a separate team which is responding to all the questions that come in very regularly, and we would love to take on as many questions, as many inquiries, as many queries on any kind of property matter or issue. This is the mission of NRI Legal Services, to reach out to the Indian community and help people resolve their property disputes. Thank you so much for connecting to me. I would be back with more information shortly.